Let's take a look at our weather forecast today.
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me cause I'm...
Tight budgets. People are coming here constantly on tight money. Either A, they don't have any income at all and they're trying to retire early. They're waiting a couple years for their money, are they not? Some show up and their Social Security is $1,200, $1,300 a month or less. And then they're trying to live in big cities. They got habits like alcohol. They got habits like cigarettes. We're going to be rolling this all into different topics, situations today, like talking about don't come here with a habit if you have a tight budget, because this will break the bank quick. I told George, we'll expose it now and down the road. On average, we make $1,500 to $1,700 a month. We've never hit US dollars, by the way. And we haven't hid that from the beginning. We're on Social Security and whatever extra money we get from the YouTube. Now, George made a good point in the last few days in us talking where we've said that we do this channel as we see fit because we're not going to go around and do, we want to be able to do, this is what we like doing. We like doing the expat help. We like covering what's going on in the Philippines, what goes on in the YouTube world. It's what we do. And the other vloggers, we feel sometimes do not cover what they really want to. Some should be covering diving and family. Some should be covering restaurants and family. Some people should be covering just traveling. And that's what they really, that's their passion. But some of them, I think, are driven by the form of money through YouTube. And like George says, it is about money. It's always, for most people, you're not going to throw away $100. Like I remember our first check with YouTube. I think it was like $100 and something, $110. Hey, $100 in this country is $100. Right, babe?
I got a $35 check. I didn't throw it away.
Oh, from Wells Fargo.
Just saying. Point is,
right? You
nobody throws away money.
No matter how many times these channels say, "Oh, it's not about money," and I don't do it for the money. I'm never going to ask for money. It's funny how on the backside it is about the money. And we will say from the beginning, this is entertainment. All YouTube channels, even if they're expat help, is entertainment. Okay, and people are either going to love it or leave it when it comes to our channel. It's either, you know, it's all entertainment value. It just is. So, Paul.
There is,
hey,
okay.
Hey, Big Daddy.
Oh my gosh. So here's a.
You don't like it when I call you Big Daddy?
I don't
Big
mind,
Daddy
but
G?
I'm not in.
You like the Daddy G? Oh,
either or.
Wrong room.
You know, everybody gets called something different.
People do it for the money.
No,
they do it for entertainment value. We're entertained by YouTube. We're gonna watch who we're gonna watch. This channel is about responding, giving our personal opinion, or try to give a biased opinion about what we see or what may be going on. And you guys all need to understand that for those that are going to rewatch this, because in other words, with two of us, it really does put a different perspective and a spin on things. We banter back and forth on stuff. If, you know, I feel like it's like something hot going on, there's going to be different opinions on that. Uncle George, Daddy. Yes. Hey, California Bear. So good morning to all members. Real quick, I'll address Chosen One real quick as the room's filling up. No, not another budget video. I said tight budgets. And we're going to discuss people coming in on super tight budgets. We're going to discuss David and Rose, and they just discussed their budget, or she did, not him. On as of, we just seen the Rose video this morning, and she also put out more laundry on him. So I'm going to address, is your budget tight? Is George tight? Does he sell it tight? Am I tight? Am I tight with the wallet? We're going to be discussing another budget video, but we will be doing a members only. You got to show some of the other designs, babe. You and that member only thing.
I love the members only. Who doesn't have their members only jacket?
And then we have a Patreon too, guys. So consider that for support of our channel. And George needs it for new nipple rings and plugs and oil. George, you're going to get us canned, man.
Oh, well, the other guy can show his butthole. I can't.
No,
oh,
because
man.
Nobody wants to see that because it's still brown. You might even get a flash of George's butt.
No, you need to order the Nair for me. Apparently that's a requirement, but anyway.
Right.
Ted Deckens. Hello, beautiful people.
All right. Look at the kids playing soccer in the bathroom. They're playing. So there you are.
Aw.
Hi. Hey, here's Crackers. Say good morning, Crackers.
We were watching a movie, right? And the kids were
Say
so
hi,
quiet.
Crackers. Hi, Crackers. Hi, Crackers, baby.
A lot of you had kids, right? I mean,
Actually, it's Ted's namesake, but
Ted,
his name's
that's Ted.
Cracker.
No,
I
he's
call him
Ted.
Crackers.
So the kids were really quiet, and next thing you know,
Loves
you hear
crackers.
this loud boom, right? And then I got up, and I went to see where the kids are at, which
Yeah,
is the
what
bathroom.
happened?
So, well, the
Fan?
sound was the toilet lid. Okay, which it didn't sound.
Oh,
it didn't
no.
sound like a toilet lid. You were there.
No, I was laying down
yeah.
watching the movie,
Right.
but I didn't.
So the sound was a toilet lid. But here's the thing: they emptied out an entire toilet paper roll all over the bathroom
Oh,
floor.
that I see. But what was the crashing last night
That's-
as I was falling asleep? Another toilet paper roll?
Oh no. Okay, that's another night. That's the
Oh, I
Pop-
thought that was last night.
It's not okay. I use it as a popcorn bowl. It's a mixing bowl that when the kids knocked over because
It's
I
our
u-
Wolfgang.
I
Puck
use-
stainless
I use
steel bowls.
barbecue flavoring
Seasoning
seasoning
from
for
McDonald's.
the popcorn to give it that barbecue taste. And one of the kids, aka Ted, got a hold of it and knocked it on the floor. But yeah, so
They've been busy.
now I told Heidi, I said, now the rule is if the kids are too quiet and we don't see them running around, they're up to no good. You know, kind of like real
And
kids.
Scott and Ted.
Chosen one says Rose is stuck like a chuck. According to Filipino law, she can do nothing if David doesn't agree. Well,
Let's start with that and bump on that note.
Okay.
So I watched Rose's video again. We just found it this morning. I figured a few days would go by and she'd make a response. She's probably been watching other channels. Now, I will say that if David wants to come on here and tell us his side, what she's saying, or if Rose wants to come on here, they're more than welcome. They can email us. We know David watches. We'd be more than glad to send a link to this live so he can tell his side. So here's my personal take on this is I believe they both have some issues. It's over when it's over. So in other words, when I say issues, something has, what do they call it, irreversibly broken. It's broken.
well, everybody has
There's no way to go
issues. First off,
Right. And we're the first where you see me
But
just walk away
there's a
during lives.
POR point of no PONR, I guess, point of no return. I think they're, I don't know.
I'm kind of on the
I
fence.
don't
And then there's a
know.
third perspective that was brought up recently by Mr. Fluffy, which has a YouTube channel. And I heard him say that through the eyes of a caregiver, he took care of his wife that was terminally ill for a long time, 20, 30 years, but he didn't leave. He was there no matter what. Sometimes things are really super good during those trials. Sometimes there's meanness from the person that's passing away. I know that I tend to lash out. George knows, God knows. But here's the thing. I love you so much. There's nothing you could say, do. We both haven't said to each other that would make me leave you.
That's not what you
We're
said.
together for, no, you said last night you would leave.
Last night you said something about mixing me with Soylent Green and then make some pork chuck.
What? Okay, on a serious note, think about that. Me and George have been through bad marriages. We all have. But you will get to that person that you're forever love and that you know that you want to grow 100% old with. George isn't old yet. Well, okay, so.
No, I am. I'm not.
What I'm saying is we're not in our 70s and 80s.
No,
We still have plenty of time
I'm
to
old,
really
trust
grow
me, I
old.
mean-
Right, but we still have time to really grow old with. And I'm sorry, if there are things and ways to fix things, I get it. We all get tired. George gets tired. George takes care of the house and the cats. There are days when he's been sick and I've done everything. We both try to share. Now, is there days where George takes on more things because of my lupus and being tired? Sure, there is. George is a good caretaker. We have a bunch of animals we've taken on. It's like, what did I say? It's like having 3 kids. And Cookie Face isn't even an adult yet. She's still in there messing with the kids and tearing things up like kids are. And there's nothing that George can do to me that would make me, there's just no way. And that he just couldn't, they're just not. Is there reasons? I mean, okay, let me go to the part where a lot of people are saying it where David has no choice but to stay, or Rose had no choice but to stay. That's all bullshit. If Rose ever wanted to go, she could have went. She's got her family. She's got her own YouTube money. David can stay in the Philippines, which I'm going to give my personal opinion. I feel he should stay. I get that he needs the medical and all of that. Maybe if he can prearrange something when he goes back to the U.S., like nursing home or care facility, then maybe it would be better. But David, at this point, there are professional places like centers. here that you can hire an actual nurse or a housekeeper to come in. I get that he already attempted all that and there's been issues, but it's really expensive. And if Las Vegas is his area, or if those areas are really expensive as we last left them and we hear our own grown kids and families that are living in the United States, it's really super expensive and it's becoming dangerous. So unless he's going into a facility, it might be better that he stays here
Okay.
financially.
The David thing. Okay. David, first off, in all honesty, he probably won't stay. First off, regardless of race, nationality, or whatever, if you're in a country where you're in a long-term relationship and somebody broke up with you, there's a very high probability you live in that country because you associate everything that person is associated with that country. So therefore, your reflex reaction is to leave that country,
Yes,
which is
that's true.
henceforth there's a lot of exodus of expats leaving the Philippines. And I'm like, let me guess, they broke up. They haven't said it yet, but guess what? They'll mention it. So David is a world traveler, and which is good. That's great. That means he's more mobile than most people realize that he's an active guy.
And Rose already said that she could,
Right.
he could get another woman.
So not Rose, David can go to, for instance, Mexico, because if his home base in the US, I'm talking in a generalized form here. If David's home base is Las Vegas, for instance, he can go to Mexico, and because that's an easy transition between the two. What I'm getting at is, odds are
if it's rough here on David's income, according to Rose's latest video, he's making 3,000. She put that out today and not 4. And she said that he spends it on electricity, house payment, which we're still trying to figure out what house payment means. He built a house on lease land. Maybe they're talking about the lease. Maybe they did a loan for the building. I'm not sure how that is, but 3,000 is a lot of money in the Philippines for being out in the province. I could see if they said they had a car payment, so then obviously the car is paid off. According to Rose, this is what I'm getting from it. Is her last statement is a lot of food, that he's really going through food. And I told George in my wildest dreams, I could not imagine spending. It would have to be $1,500 a month in food, and I can't see that here because right now, on a month that we overspend is about $400, and even if we're eating out, then we're looking at $500 a month and like overspending. So I get there's just no way, and it's not like we do like the little snack cakes, like these are waffles. We do the coffee.
They're literally tiny waffles.
Right. And so we spend at SM mostly. We're like 80% SM, and then we go to the market on the side for other things. So right now we're under $300, maybe $400 a month, and that's 2 of us. According to Rose, she does the fish and rice thing. She goes and does things with her family. I cannot imagine going through that much money, no matter how much. David cannot out-eat his income here in the Philippines.
No, he can't.
Unless he orders.
But I mean,
and as far as I know, they don't have Grab there, so it's not like he's ordering in fast food constantly. Now, is she going out and getting him that every day? I don't think so.
No.
So
I mean,
it's,
you okay.
It's a lot. I'm not doubting Rose. I'm not.
Right.
It's a lot of money. If first she just revealed their income as far as 4 to 3, and what I keep saying, I was telling George this, and looking at all of her videos. Again, this is a commentary, guys.
Regardless whether it's YouTube or not, whether or not your family member listening in to your fellow family members' woes, aka, for instance, not that I do this. No, really, I don't. I don't talk about.
Cindy.
I never talk about me and Heidi to my family. But let's say you're one of those people that do run to your family. Well, Heidi did this, and she called me a nut sucker. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, if you're the person on the other end, you have to remember that they're presenting things to you for you to get the most sympathy.
And David is probably doing it. So they're
David
both,
again is doing.
There's somewhere in between lies the truth.
Correct, and that's what I'm getting at. So be aware of that. Whether it's YouTube, family members, or anything like that, remember everything presented to you is not necessarily the whole truth. I'm not saying it's lying; it's more embellishing. Okay, there's a difference between the two.
And some vloggers, I'm not saying they do. I'm going to round up a bunch of these other vloggers here recently, like AKA this Jasper thing, or this thing going on with this new quote unquote expat trash that is going all AI and talking trash about other expats. They've even drug Paul into it. Old Dog New Tricks recently, that he did that interview on that girl, and it's like, and so?
Which is somewhat left field on that, that perspective.
Which is weird because we've been asked what we think about that through some emails and messaging, and I'm like, they're hiding behind AI, whoever they are. and then they're using simping AI bots to actually do their content. And there's like they're making it like every expat that steps in here, male or female, are all trash. Like as far as all of them, and it's only a small percentage that are actually putting out that type of content. And why are they so focused? I don't get this, but anyways. Anything's a possibility, but we wish them luck. I know it's going to be a long road. She says that David's waiting on cheaper plane tickets to go back, so maybe he's already spoke his mind that he's going back. But on the next video, he said that he wasn't and that it wasn't over. But Rose just released that video saying it is over. So we wish them luck on that, because that's going to be a rough. The rough road will still be coming with Rose and David. David's got to reestablish himself in the U.S. and find the caretaker, get back into the system, and everything else. She says he doesn't have any family that cares. There's another channel that mentioned this is all true, that David's burned his bridges. Rose hasn't burned her bridges. She's still, about 20 years younger than Dave, 20 plus years younger than him. It's a possibility down the road she may move on in relationships. It's a possibility. She's got to take care of her son. She talked about her future in college and all that, and, for him. And but I think solely relying on the YouTube money in the future could be an actual issue. So. Only when she brought the drama did her numbers triple, and that is quite evident. Her last video is only pulled down a couple thousand, which, hey, it's more than we can actually get. But the old numbers are not there. And like she said, she's only getting so much YouTube money. So she said she's possibly in her videos throughout the last year mentioned a job. So it's possible she may. So, yeah.
Everyone says when a woman's fed up, there's nothing you can do about it. R. Kelly. He would know, wouldn't he?
I'm fed up with George, and George is fed up with me, but I'll be damned if we're going to break up.
Oh, dang. Ted says R. Kelly's idea of a woman was a 12-year-old, though.
I can hear Brittany's toxic.
Chosen One says Rose can just leave. David will look to remarry quickly. He can't literally survive on his own. I think he will grant the divorce. Well,
I don't think he'll pay. You guys don't realize how expensive it is and how it has to be approved. It could take years for them to get a divorce. He would have to just get another woman on the side. But if he does that and they're still married, and I don't think Rose has a spiteful bone in her, but by law, she could go after him. So I don't know. My honest opinion is go look at Rose and David. They have 2 channels. It goes in so many different ways on the channel, but I've seen her yell at David during a live. And when I say yell, like literally she was there with the family. And do you remember that day where she yelled out loud, "What do you want, David?" or something? In other words, David says that she's mean sometimes. Her videos show during the lives that there is some issues going on between them, and she's just not, like, George stays quiet until I push his buttons. Maybe David's pushing her buttons and she's exploding. That can actually happen too, but it still shows that there's still something going on.
Well, there's always something going on.
Well, there's always something going on with everybody.
That's what I was getting at, yes.
I mean, I'm sorry.
And like I said, it could be as simple as lifting up that toilet seat lid to, somebody has different levels of, irate, I guess.
Just think there's, no, he cannot survive on his own. And that's the problem. That relationship started out like that. She knew that. She knew before they even left Angeles City area that it was like that. And at that point, there was another channel that Mike's Philippine Journey just brought up, and the girl's going on about he was young and I'm a single mother, or single mother's this. And it was like all the blame was being put on the guys. There's blame on both sides, guys. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as, oh, he did it to me and this happened to me. And that's all I hear from both sides of the story. And I call bullshit. I call bullshit on any relationship and people that divorce where they sit inside of a counselor's office and, oh, he did this to me and they did that to me and he wouldn't give me no money and he wouldn't this. Please, what did you do? And it's like that, guys. I see both sides right now, but I definitely see with her being the caregiver, there was a problem from Jump Street. There was a problem when they did the YouTube channel. I seen that a long time ago when she wore certain clothes and all the comments came through, comments on other channels, other people talking that how she was dressing like that. And then David was getting mad during the lives. Well, of course, there's just a certain presentation that was actually going on. But guys, it is what it is on that. There's a lot going on, but him paying for a $20,000 divorce, or him doing it when he gets back to the U.S., that'd be the last thing. It'd be the last thing that I would do. If I had to go back to the U.S. and get full medical care and have somebody take care of me constantly, that's the last thing I'm going to spend my money on.
Yeah, of course.
It's just not. And that would be the real truth, is I wouldn't spend any money getting a divorce. Let's say that's what me and George did. One, I'm going to stay here. And I'll stay here even if I got to fly out every 36 months. And I'll live in one of those 3 month, what do you call that? One of those rooms where they put 4 people in a room, or I'll just rent a room. But I wouldn't go back to the U.S. and I'm not going to pay for a divorce unless George wants to remarry. You going to remarry there, babe?
Me?
Yeah. So
Not really.
and they have to grant the divorce on top of that. So it's going to be a he said, she said battle. And they will continue to release their own footage for their own numbers, so she can pay for her son's college, so she can continue her channel. So she's just going to slowly release everything, which I think the divorce thing should be off the table. But
Hey, Hector, thank you for joining us. New
thank you,
member.
Hector.
Hey, Hector.
There's Hector. I like
Hector.
his little photo that he generated. Thank you, Hector.
Regardless of who you side with, again, whether you go on misandry or misogyny side, everybody has a bias. What I'm saying is, depending on how nobody's alike, but they always have a bias, whether they lean towards the woman or male. Okay, and I obviously nobody can tell you which side you're more, where you lean more towards. Okay, but remember that that's not the whole story. Remember that. Okay. Cindy G says hi. California says, hey George and Heidi, I was wondering, is it now more difficult to find a place there in a nice area that is not too expensive since the Philippines lifted all COVID requirements?
The price has gone up. There's no doubt the prices have gone up. So an example, if something was 400, it might be 5 or 6 right now. So some of the rents have raised a little bit, but you what comes to mind? I'll mention Mike again. He said the guys keep asking him where to go find a Filipina in the Philippines. They want locations. And he said, anywhere in the Philippines, they're everywhere. It's the same with the rentals. Is a good example, is why I'm mentioning this, is that there are so many different rentals in different areas. It's where you're going to feel safe. Here we have all the safety factors. We got none of that flooding, and it rained every day for almost a month, seemed like. And we can have delivery. Our grocery store is nearby. You got to make it your own location and what you can deal with. And unless you're really ready to ball and you're making 5, 6, 7,000 US dollars a month, most places are not going to meet the US standard that people are thinking about. I've seen houses that have cost $600 a month that you would see in the Ozarks that would cost half that price. But they're charging that here because that is the nicer standard. And I don't know, I just wouldn't pay it. Like right now, I think that place that you just mentioned, T-Mall, I don't think those houses, to me, I would rather live in this $200 a month place than to go live in T-Mall for the 6, 7, and 800 US dollars they're asking for. Are they bigger than our place? Sure they are, but I don't need that much room. So it depends on your needs. If you're going to have a housekeeper, then some people want that extra room that some of those places have. Do you need a swimming pool? But if you look around, and don't rely strictly on Facebook as your rental destination, I would actually do Airbnb or book the hotels on TripAdvisor or one of those places, and then go look around. And so there are other ways, or hire a realtor. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the real problem you'll face as an expat, and I made a side because I think it's a bad practice on my countrymen. Most of the phone numbers, most of the posts, most of the banners, or most of the signs you'll see are outdated. Meaning, for instance, you'll see a for rent sign that freaking place been rented out 3 months ago, and they don't take them down.
Yes.
So be patient when it comes to that part. Now,
oh shit, Mark.
Yeah. So be very patient on that. Don't now if they answer the phone and they tell you, oh, the place been rented out.
We're getting a bunch that are
No.
pouring in on David, so remember what.
No. California answer, George, why are so many Filipinos over there asking for a loan when they have no thought of paying it back, just asking if you can help them out and give them a couple bucks? That's a good point. Because loan never pay you back. Give me money. No.
And that does happen a lot.
It's called pautang, which means yes, loan. It's I don't know why it's always been like that for years, and it's not because you're an expat. It happens to a lot of Filipinos to Filipinos. It's just, I guess, as the Mandalorian always says, it is the way. I'm not saying it's right, but that's how it's always been. So they think that's okay. Synergy, many of these hotels are tourist prices. Hey, Ruby. Good day, Heidi and George. California Bear, George 100%. He's saying that Rose is done.
No, that's what I gathered again. And she's released several videos since in the last month that's been saying she's done. I didn't think they would do it, but, no. So
Yeah.
I myself, I'm old fashioned and I get she is too. Unless he put something in my eye or tried to, or like serious violence, then I'm not going to leave. I mean, there have been marriages where they've been cheated on. They've been, I can think of, and they still stay. And I get it's where everybody would say it's toxic and you need to get away and everything. And I'm not condoning abuse. We don't know what's actually. I don't know. And maybe it's over. You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
What are you talking about?
You.
No.
Okay.
Chosen. David needs to cut his losses. Accidents happen in our province. I honestly be too scared to say, especially the whole family hates you much. Hates you. Shake my head. Some people don't learn. This is where I said you have to move 2 cities over to get rid of those ties because the entire family has ties all over the place. Somebody's going to hate you. And
if it was that bad, so when I said that to George, what I'm saying is there should be no reason for divorce. I believe no matter what, you stay together. Till death do you part. And I mean that. I don't care how toxic that sounds.
I disagree.
Okay, well then Rose just needs to totally leave. Or he needs to totally leave. Obviously, there's still some love or something going on, or
no.
When it's over, it's over.
Love and needs are 2 different things.
I don't know. They all say it's because of care, and then they stay around for a couple more years, and then all of a sudden it's an emergency just to get out. Sorry.
No. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm getting at is...
Hey, Mr. Fluffy.
David?
Mr. Fluffy's in the house. Mr. Fluffy further down says they could do all this in the privacy of their own home. It's ridiculous, real or unreal, some of both, but all for views. But people are watching. We know you're watching. We know the others are watching. You guys watch us to see if I'm going to pop off. And for the watchers that don't comment, that are in the background, we know you watching. That's what you're waiting for, something in between. But that's why people watch Scotty. That's why people watch Tim K. That's why people watch. They watch a lot, like a dozen channels that have a similar situation going on. They want to see what's actually going on, and they're holding on to this slight bit of drama, but it's real, and it's like a soap opera. And again, it is for their numbers. It's not really getting anybody super rich, but it's a, I don't know. Can't really say, because I'm just going to act how I'm going to act on air. Like, so I don't know, but. Then he said, can't wait to see the David rebuttal. I'm sure that's actually coming, and they're both welcome.
Which makes it worse.
They know it's working. Yeah, they all know that. All these YouTube channels, guys, the P, Philly in the Philippines, Tim K, what is Scotty's channel?
As in regular guy?
The regular guy. All of these guys that do whatever they actually do, they're at some point where they know it works. Or what works for them. That's why I was saying that they should be doing what they actually like. I feel some of these channels would rather be doing something else if they thought they were going to get numbers. But what they really want to do will not actually bring any numbers. It just actually won't. Remember, that's what we were going to title our thing, making a joke about George's sewing class and Heidi's cooking. Is that really what I want to do? No, not really. This is what I want to be doing. I want to talk about what's going on in the Philippines. I'm going to talk about what's going on in the YouTube community. I'm going to talk about the topics of expat help. We communicate with people. If there's something that's been going on in our relationship and that we're on a budget, then that's what we're actually talking about. But
yeah, we're waiting on that rebuttal. Yes. California Oscar, are you guys talking about vlogger David that lives in the boonies? And it's yes, we
David
are. And again, remember the scale: metropolitan, rent, and provincial. The more
and more likely he's watching. David and Rose watch our channel. And yes. I told George a few days ago that I offer them both to actually, I believe I said that on the last live, but they won't. We've had them once on our live, and one time they didn't, and Rose did not even appear when we asked. It was just David that one time, right? It was David by himself. Okay, she didn't even appear, and we were really wanting to originally interview them both as her taking care of a disabled man. It's not easy. I feel for her, just like Mr. Fluffy. He knows what she's going through, and she's a saint for doing that. And if we discuss something like as far as this is not us. Once again, we're not saying we hate that person or we're picking on that person. Our channel is commentary, and we have a full legal description inside of our description box about the legalities. We are commentating. We're not bashing. We're not picking. We're not degrading unless I outright call you out.
Angshik says he can file for divorce in USA, then take papers to PI. Showing papers for Filipino loan. This question is, does he have the money to just? Well, the question of whether he has the money or not, the problem is the annulment part. The divorce.
It still take time, even with the divorce papers in the U.S. But even he would either have to hire an attorney or go down there and do it. And according to Rose, he doesn't have any backup system. He didn't have much of a backup system when he went there. There was a few other people that came there to see him, and
like I said, annulling a marriage of 5 years is kind of difficult, even in the U.S. Chosen One says, I'm not biased. David be attacking supporters of his wife's channel. He says subscribe, but attacks him the next day. What are you talking about? This is nonsense. Well,
okay, I agree that, but you guys have seen me toxic, so I'm not. I think David is got issues. Somebody was saying the other day about people showing up here and their mental issues and their physical issues and their reliance on alcohol. Some are reliant on marijuana, and you're definitely not going to get this here unless you guys go under the table. And then some get hooked on the other meds and drugs that are here, and a lot of things can actually happen in between. Now, yeah, he does. And I'll tell you what, that's just, okay, some people can shake off when things go on in their lives. You guys have seen me react. I'm learning not to react to some stuff, but you guys, people are only human. David is only human. These guys come in the room and troll him during his lives, and some of them sent messages directly to Rose. Some have said messages. Actually, the last live they were in, they said something about her again. They said something about her. I'm not going to repeat it. And she read it out loud. Did you guys see her pop off at her people? Did you guys hear her say a few things? What did she say during the live exactly? Okay, she actually did herself attack some people, or why you guys this? And I heard her too. Not defending her or David, but David is now upset because the guys are coming in trying to hit on her, and then he's saying all these crazy things. Yes, it's super crazy, and but yes, I mean it's not part of the YouTube game. It's just part of the YouTube world. The guys are going to hit on your wife when she's wearing the clothes that she does, when they're watching her exercise videos, when they're watching any of that. It's just, she's got her Facebook, she's got her TikToks, and she's always on there. Well, of course, guys are going to like her, just like they like the P, just like they like Shay's Adventures and some of these other channels. It's just what they're actually going to do. I mean, we have guys and girls simping on George constantly. It's just like it is what it is. But I get when people get upset, so I get that too.
Everybody gets upset.
Yes.
I mean,
but those issues of medical, mental, and addiction will not go away when you get here, and that will also break your budgets when you guys get here, as far as medications, going off the medications, not properly taken care of. And a lot of people don't fit that in. And a lot of these guys are 1,500 and under when they're arriving here. And they don't think about that extra girlfriend or a baby coming along or the medications or a broken arm from falling down because the stairs are uneven here or the infrastructures are bad or you're walking down the road and you actually trip. There's actually a lot of dangers here where even a medical issue can wipe out a tight budget. And so that's why it's good to have a good support system.
yeah,
So.
and again, playing devil's advocate here, Chosen One. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying be careful what you wish for. You might get what you want. What I'm getting at is when it comes to YouTube, depending on your approach, you can go in the sexual side, you can go in the slutty side, you can go into the shock value side where like people like start eating Tide Pods, whatever. Point is it worth it to you? You know what I'm getting at? Are your viewers like, for example, me and Heidi? I mean, obviously this is never going to happen, but let's say we should just start like, hey, well, how about in one of our videos, let's actually have a fist fight? You know what I'm saying? Point is, are you willing to go that far for your viewers for that kind of negative viewership? There's always a saying where bad publicity is still publicity. Yes, but is that worth it? You know what I'm getting at? So they may have, again, I don't know what the whole story or background on their side is, or even if that's what we're looking at, is what they're presenting may not be what's really going on at all.
Where are you at on that?
The cursor is that.
That's what I was laughing at earlier. David is about 3 brain cells away from being a carrot. Yeah.
Oh, I met the Carrot Top. He's actually a nice guy. Anyway.
David and Rose, IMO. If I was in his condition, I'd be more grateful. You would think so too, but here's the thing. I sit there, I don't know how many times there have been people that say that I'm not going to drink that drink. They will say the same that if they're an alcoholic and they'll say, I'd give up drinking if I knew I was going to get a divorce. It never happens, guys. Whatever behavior you have in the US just carries over. And how do I say this? If I'm upset about something or there's a couple things going on, I do voice it. There's no such thing as a perfect person. So what I would have voiced my opinion about or argued with George in the US still actually happens here. And I think sometimes that I go too far. George, we've been in arguments, and then I'm like, and then I do think about that. I think about other couples. I think about other family members, other people that have divorced. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if I don't tune it down, then maybe George will be upset with me or won't, I think about that exactly what you're saying. You would think so, but it's not going to change. I don't know how else to say that it doesn't matter. It's the same as drug addiction, alcohol addiction. If David has jealous bones in his bodies, he's just going to keep being jealous of her in the morning.
He can't go against his nature.
There it is. Same with me. When I first got with George, okay, I've toned it down, but I was jealous of George's every move. But then again, George was hugging everybody, had all of the people that worked in his office were all females. He worked with his ex-wife. All that stuff was there in front of my face like a piece of candy constantly. Now, David has been jealous of Rose for a reason since the beginning. When I say that, if George dressed a certain way does a person that dresses like that provocatively in her own videos that can be seen, is that an actual problem?
Well, okay.
And if the guys are always watching, or he puts his wife in, it's what she's allowed, it's what he's allowed.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to.
Good afternoon. Good evening to all of you. First thing I want to tell you, every video that Rose posts, that post comes through me first. And here's what you have to understand. I'm a very strong man. My wife works out every day for 2 hours. My wife fasts every day for 16 hours. She doesn't eat a lot of food. She's very healthy. She's 38 years old for another 2 or 3 days. She's going to be 39. And if posting her in a bathing suit or working out makes her happy, I'm completely fine with it. She deserves it because she works hard to have that body. Some of you don't work so hard. She does. So nobody has a right to say anything except for me. And I approve of this video. I like it.
Again, no personal attack on Rose.
To play both
I'm
parties.
sure I'll hear by the end of the day that just like I'm jealous of her or I'm jealous of Rose. This has nothing to do with jealousy except for a topic of financially, this could cause a major issue to both of them. She says it won't, but she just went into a full speech about how she has to save money, how she has to pay for her son's college. That wasn't a thought prior.
No.
Now it's a thought.
No. Well, there's a lot of things that can it's none of my business. Their business. What I'm saying is,
or is she putting that out in front of people?
I can say a lot of
for
things,
support?
but I can tell you what's on their channel. Meaning,
Is it all for the extra support?
For the provocative clothing, for instance. Who do you think started making her wear those provocative clothing?
We don't know if it's her or David.
Well, it's in the older videos. It was stated who did it. I don't have to say who it is, but watch the old videos. It was actually stated.
Yeah,
so again, just remember, there's always two sides.
There's
always two sides, guys.
But it's financially going to devastate one or both, and if he can't make it here on whatever money he has, he's like she said, he's not going to make it there either.
To answer your question about the finances, yes, of course, those were answered before, during. Now she's asking for the after relationship. What Heidi's saying about the college and everything. Yeah, of course. I'm pretty sure both parties have thought about this before the relationship, during the relationship, and now since the after the relationship, meaning if it does fall apart, okay, keyword if it does fall apart, now everything's up in the air. So, it's nothing's a sure thing at this point in our.
Only a blind man wouldn't see exactly what is actually going on, and every time the trolls and the people out there go to all channels, YouTube, expat help. They go, the same people on ours could be messing with somebody in a sewing channel. They know what irks you, whether it's an email. These guys, I don't think, the other ones that are coming on during the lives or sending messages or comments, look at the comments. They're bashing David and they're not her. Or they'll come in and they're both praising them both. We hope you guys are together. So you're going to get an array of comments on this channel.
And like Heidi said, there are trolls. They're trolling both parties. They're trolling Rose, they're trolling David.
It's how you actually control it.
And some bash Rose, some bash David, and it does affect them, I'm pretty sure, especially at this volatile environment they're in.
Correct. And I wouldn't doubt that Rose or David don't get nasty emails, threatening things, or promising the world to her, or promising him things, or, this is just part of the game. You just got to dump them afterwards. So it's but anyways, we're doing the same thing as we did yesterday. It was all about the P the other day, and technically it wasn't. It's just how it's rolling about the budgets. And don't rely on YouTube as your extra money. It's eventually it all falls down, guys.
George, it's sad to hear that David and his wife are having issues. They have a beautiful home. They have a nice SUV, has the biggest refrigerator, and it's not material things are never enough. And again, it's actually not the material things that keep you anchored in any.
Because it's the first that'll tear you apart when you can't pay bills. Most divorces and fighting do start over money issues, so it can be the opposite. And I've been in both places where I've been flat broke and it caused issues, and been up there with money and it causes major issues.
And a lot of you,
I've been on both sides of that.
Well, and a lot of you guys are.
Money doesn't fix it.
No, it doesn't. Actually, makes it worse. Like I said, like all of you, most of you are either our age or older. And what I'm getting at, think about it. Go back in your past. The biggest stress in your life as you go younger, you flip over $300. And then the higher the stress is, you're looking at $1,000. So I'm saying no. Usually, the more money you have, the more problem it causes. Because again, your bills go higher, your way of living goes higher. Yeah. Remember when you were younger, when you're 18 and 20, most of your problems only involve $200, $300. Yeah.
And a tight budget, if you're coming here as a couple, will definitely cause some issues sometimes. And when you're in a strange land, it becomes another issue too. So
yeah, and
like the guy getting the loan, and we'll discuss that later, that these guys are coming here on super tight budgets. And then later, a lot of them here lately are starting these YouTube channels based on seeing other YouTubers, and they think they're getting rich. A lot of them are making some money, but only a top percentage is making any money that they can really live on. And it can all be taken away in a minute.
David was to take his wife to the U.S. She would leave him in a minute with the first truck driver that came by.
One more time, and it's done. You do see that, right?
My friend told me that her electricity bill dropped from an average $8K to $3K after changing aircon inverter, fridge inverter.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But we run ours all the time. So if we only ran ours at nighttime, like the average people do, or like we used to, we probably would drop down to 3,000 or 4,000. So right now we're paying about $7,400, but that's because we run it all the time, and it's
and again, just remember everything that you see on YouTube or anywhere, any social media,
it's entertainment.
Take it for what face value is. It's kind of like, don't be too quick to judge.
Because we were talking about that expat trash situation that was being brought up on several channels. They're under 600 right now. They're using the AI to bring this up. They're not showing their face, which I think they should. It could be, my guess is it's an expat doing it. They're making it appear that it's a Filipino running the channel. I think it's an expat just trying to expose other expats, and that's fine. In the end, they said that the money will be going to run the channel. Of course, it'll be padding their pocket in the end to bring up other trash. And I don't think there's a whole lot of purpose. I think other expats that are watching other expat channels already know about this other expat trash because enough of it's actually going around. Now, and saying that, I feel that this channel just started talking about old dog recently. And yes, all channels are using some sort of form of sensuality on their thumbnails and all that. It's always been that about most of these expat channels as far as, their views and all that. But they were attacking him on that last interview that we actually commented on. And he always does his interviews in a unbiased, like you said, that interview was very unbiased.
It's objective.
She brought herself on that channel. She said things. She was talking about her her own body, other people's bodies, other things, and she put herself out there. And we commentated on it. And I don't have any problem with Old Dog doing the interview or what he did, but they're bringing it in on the radar like there's some sort of problem with him. He helps the community. He helps other expats. He does a lot of good things. They're just going to, everybody has to use their own eyes to see what they're seeing, whether it's our channel and what you guys think, whether it's Old Dog's channel, whether it's the new thing of Jasper, which I don't get this Jasper thing. But it's like, it just, I don't know, it's just all, but that's what that newer channel is about. But I think about that they just start picking on Old Dog, and it's just like, oh, come on, guys. And there's just always, the Philippines has had the most toxic YouTube thing going on. But I think YouTube encourages it no matter what country it's in. They say that you should follow the trends that are going on. And once you get into that loop of people and other channels, you're kind of drug into that. We discussed that. If we do just expat help and we just record videos and talk about expat help, there were still issues. When we did the drama thing, there were still issues. When it was me and George fighting with each other, there were still issues and viewers. But it's like, no matter what the other channels have tried, they evidently have gone back to what actually has been, what sells and what they're actually doing. And they were like, well, maybe Jasper's just doing it just for numbers. It could all be a show. They're saying it's not even his real name. Yeah, be aware that some of the channels aren't even using their own real names, that they're not, and they're not responsible to tell you guys that. Have you guys ever done a TikTok recipe or recipe on YouTube? Has that ever panned out? Not normally.
Most of the time, no. It's missing a lot of ingredients
or something. So, but you're relying on that one person to give you a recipe for cotton candy with Sour Patch flavor in it or something, and they told you to drop vinegar in it. That was just something they could have been experimenting in. It's how you're actually seeing all these things. So
yeah. Mega Shakespeare says, I agree, Heidi. Things don't add up on both sides.
And if David and Rose is watching or rewatch this, let us know if you want to join us in the next live. But it's got to be both of you, because I would like to. But why not save it for your own channel? To be honest, I told George, even if we had 100 people in the room, it's going to bring us $5 or $10. It's not like we're trying to base our entire monthly budget on it, and neither is most of the average YouTubers. I just don't think they'll come on and actually talk to us. They'll save it for their own channel first before they'll talk. But they're more than welcome, along with other channels, to join us with, if there's something they would like to debate with us or talk about, or, yeah.
Sarah Tyson says, maybe David has some computer subscription. They can add up. Wink, wink.
That's a possibility.
That's a possibility. Victoria.
That is true. I never thought about there could be a side situation or a side chick, or who knows.
Rose mentioned David mostly wants American-style food, more expensive to buy over there.
It is, but I buy a lot of American food, and we don't, as you guys see, I've actually gained 40 pounds since I've been here. I'm not actually, the most we've spent is $500 a month, and now I'm getting bottled water on top of it. And we eat out. So it's, I don't know, I don't think it's, but it definitely does. If you go to SNR, that shit can add up quick. You could spend $200 or $300. So I believe it, but I don't think they are. I don't think they're making a trip to SNR.
Ruby, house cleaner twice a week at 800 pesos a day is in our budget too.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know it's a little flat field there, California, so we're kind of not sure where that came from. Did I hear you say 400 pesos for fries? And now fries here in SoCal cost less than half of that, and they're the. That's what I mean. There's value in it, and that apparently was a mistake on our. Well, we didn't know. We've never had them before.
We thought at that price that there would be a bigger amount there, and that we would just use it, and I would make some sort of gravy to put over it for later. When we order once, we order like enough for like 2 meals of the day. Like if we order at lunchtime, we want to order what will cover at least 1 or 2 meals, just not one. And we were ordering from the same company for the past year, and I was like, oh, well, look, they got fries. They are 200 pesos an order. And it was next to their other items where they sell like the pancit and everything. And then they had we got an order of sweet sour chicken. That was definitely enough for 2 or 3 meals. I was like, okay, well, then there's got to, for 200 pesos, it had to be a good amount of fries. No, it equaled out to be about a small McDonald's fry for 200 pesos, because I ordered 2, and yes, 400 pesos. And I was like, yep, lesson learned. And there's lessons to learn on,
Yeah, you got more out of the McDonald's fries and got a better taste too. So it was a lose-lose.
I think California Bear was just talking about possibly Brian's chat. I don't know anything about Brian's chat group.
Yeah, no, I got you, but I don't remember.
I mean, we follow him, and
I think it was when you were talking about Jasper, I guess. That's all. I mean, I was
No, he was in
Yeah.
that live. We didn't watch the entire live. Oh, he's talking about expat trash.
right.
It's a group from Brian's chat group. Nah, there's things going on with that entire group. We've heard Mike and Arlene's Philippine journey that talked about expat trash group. We heard another channel talk about this new expat trash group. We heard it over and over again in Brian's room recently, and how he does. The guy said something to Brian about him supporting that channel. I don't know how much that's all true, but it is kind of funny how it's all guys that are. I think it's an expat based channel, just attacking the other ones, and I think it's all just to bring it all back through. Who knows who runs that? Maybe it is. Maybe it. Who knows? It could just be Filipina, but I don't know why. Part of their complaints is about exposing Filipinas, and then they use a sexy Filipina to actually tell stories. It's just weird. It's just all weird.
Mango Shakes Philippines.
But I think they should show their face.
Say who you are, Heidi and George.
Dang.
Okay, Ruby says my hubby can only handle eating Filipino food maybe 4 times a week, and the rest 3 times a week has to be Australian food.
Yeah.
Everybody has their preferences.
Yeah, I mean, our real preference, even since the U.S., we love eggs. We do a lot of eggs. We do the rice. Like I made we had the barbecue tuna pasta the other day, which was really actually good with a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. It's just the way we've kind of always eaten. We've just toned down since U.S. eating out all the time. We probably eat out 4 times. How many times do we order and eat out a month? 4 or 5 times, maybe, on average.
Probably.
Yeah. So now our birthday month, we did a lot. Which, by the way, guys, thank you for your well wishes. We've just received more emails and messages.
Thank you, guys.
I'm actually doing much better. I don't know if you guys notice. I'm not coughing as much. And George bought a home air filter with the ion in it. That should be coming today or tomorrow. So it's a system that's coming. So we're kind of excited about that too. That will help with the pet hair and the dust. There is some sort of thick dust that's been going around.
That's actually me choking on my spit. Sorry.
He does that every now and then. You got your bib on there, babe? Straighten your bib out. Okay.
Victoria says, from what I understand, they're paying both land and house off, regardless of David saying him owning it. It's still a double mortgage payment.
Okay. Well, I heard that, but I didn't think that's really what they meant, because I've only heard that he's leasing the land, but still, how much could that? It's not a big chunk of land. How much could they still actually be paying? And so, is that mortgage then officially in her name then?
We don't know. They never stated. I don't think.
Well,
I mean, they may have, but
we don't. I mean,
Ruby says so far we've been disappointed with the fries we've had in Angels.
yeah, they're usually greasy and hard. Even the ones at McDonald's tend to be that way, and the ones at Wendy's, some of them are just really rough. Hey, Mama.
California Bear says certain members spoke about investigating Jasper. He's talking about that group they have in that channel. Yes.
No, they did, and they said that they had ties to checking people out and turning information into the NBI and all that, and maybe they actually do. But these guys still remain here after all the talk. Most of them still stay here for a while. How long was what's his name up the street after hundreds claimed they turned him in? Randy. The guy in Miami claimed he turned him in. It took forever to get him. So processing takes a while, no matter how much is turned in or said. But guys, understand there's a lot of good expats here. As much as you hear that, I'm going to say maybe 3% are bad eggs, 5% are bad eggs. All of them are damaged goods when they get here. Everybody's damaged goods sometimes.
Well, at our age, yeah. Hector Guba.
It's no such thing as
in the
good,
form you have to
good
fill
good,
out
right?
for tourist visitor visa, does it ask for a reason to stay to disclose your prior convictions? No.
No.
Geechee says not seen much in McDonald's, and Ruby says, have you guys tried? Actually, we did see it, but we didn't go in it. Dainty Restaurant SM Clark, it's quite good, and servings are quite good too. We have to check that out.
Yeah, we will. We're supposed to take a trip. We were talking about going out and seeing a movie or doing something, so that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, we'll check
that out.
We'll check out the Dainty one. Yeah.
We have our anniversary coming up here in about a week, guys.
Yeah. California says it's talking about Randy that they deported him. There it is.
Yes. All right, guys. So what we'll move on to next is when you're on those tight budgets, guys, don't take those loans here, whether it's your Filipina, whether it's Their Gcash, which a lot of people are signed up for, where they will offer these small loans, like it's ridiculous. They'll tell you they'll give you 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, and then they add a crap load of interest. There are regulations, but a lot of these smaller companies, especially through Facebook, actually do not do it. You don't want to. I wouldn't even be pawning something. That's just it. If you guys get into so much trouble here that you're pawning things and you're taking out loans, or your Filipinas are, and definitely don't do them little. What do they call those things where they want your debit card and they're at the
ATM loans.
Yeah, you don't want to end up doing
Never
that
do an
either.
ATM loan.
There was recently an expat where Filipina did take it. She didn't actually pay the loan on time. Now supposedly they're adding 1,000 pesos of interest, so $20 a day interest now until she pays it off. So now they consider it at fault with the first missed payment, something like that. This is allegedly, and now they're trying to hit him. Then a bunch of people come through and said, no, that's not legal. If they're asking for it, it's hard to say what they'll actually do to actually recoup the money. It's not like something being missed in the U.S., like on a credit card payment or something. It can get pretty bad. So somebody went and tried to check it out for the guy and everything. That's a lot. So think about it. That's another 30,000 pesos a month. And if it was a 2-year loan that they took out, or 24 payments, they're in big trouble at 30,000. That is what, 600 a month interest? Think about it. So a lot of people aren't reading the fine line on the bottom of these loans, like the payday loans they have in the U.S. They do have things similar like that here. They're all over the internet. They're local. There are sharks that will actually loan you out the money. So when you're on that extra tight budget and you're strictly with no support system here, and some people burn their bridges back in the U.S., that can become a major problem.
Yeah. The problem I have with this story is, and it's the problem you'll face. What Heidi said is his wife took the loan, meaning odds are it's probably not within his knowledge. That's what I mean, is you have to set your boundaries when it comes to finances and everything with your partner, Filipino. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're with a Filipino or Filipino. Like, what I'm saying is, whoever controls the money have to put their foot down. Like, hey, don't take these loans. Don't do anything. Don't spend. There's nothing wrong with you holding your money. Okay? And when it goes into the wife or husband side, what I'm saying is the legality, there is no distinction between you and your partner at that point in time when they become your wife or your husband. Because legally, you're binded. You're bound together. So loan or not, whether you took the loan or not, if your partner took the loan, you're both involved. And that's the problem that you'll probably face. So that's why again, guys and girls, when you land here and find your partner, make sure you set boundaries on your, not necessarily budget, but on the finances. Like, never take a loan, whatever this, whatever that. Set your, your living will, set your wills. Bottom line, put down your boundaries, okay? Because like I said, like Heidi said, the wife took the loan. And at that point, you're already screwed.
Well, I think it was with his permission. That's the other part we don't know.
Well, the problem is most expats don't know the conditions of these loans.
It's bad. Yeah, it's really, really bad.
I mean, it's not like going to Amscot and getting a loan from Amscot, you know what I'm saying? Which most Westerners are used to those type of loans. But no,
yeah, 600 a month, that's a lot.
This is like mafia level loaning. You know what I'm saying? This is a different level.
And good luck in trying to enforce it. Good luck in trying to enforce anything in the U.S. if it's actually, let alone here. Because once you're in a pickle here, you're all covered in vinegar, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, guys, and we will see you soon. Okay?
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye, guys. God bless.
Say my name until the city burns and the stars fade away and your scars don't hurt. Stay with me until the last man falls. I don't need them anyway. When I'm with you, I have it all. Oh, I'll never let you slip away. Oh, and you don't have to be afraid. I will hold you till the sun comes crashing down. I'm yours until the end of time.